It's Wild Take Wednesday. We are on 20,000. Let's go. We are on 20,000. Let's go. If you are in Iverson, tonight is for you. If you are in Iverson, tonight is for you. We're on 20,000. We're going to start. Believe in the you. I just want to start by greeting everybody. Big shout out to everybody, all 44 people that are here. If you're watching on TikTok, big shout out. If you're watching on Twitch, whomever's on Twitch, big shout out. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe the video, or like the video and subscribe to the channel, rather, UNC'S Corner Live. But if you're watching this live with me, welcome to Wild Take Wednesdays right here on UNC'S Corner. Let's go. For those who don't know what Wild Take Wednesdays is, Wild Take Wednesdays is the conversation portion of UNC'S Corner. It happens every Wednesday, 9 o'clock, and I am the host, UNC. Tonight we're going to be talking about Iverson. We're going to be talking about the Radio Man, aka Nasty C, and we're going to be talking about Nasty C's album Free. Let's go. Yeah. Bing, bing, bing. After talking about Nasty C, we're going to talk about Zynga and Speedster. So if you are part of the Twitch, you can see me when I refer to the videos. If you're not part of Twitch and you're on TikTok, it's fine. You'll probably be able to see the clips when I post them on YouTube. Don't forget to follow, or rather subscribe on the YouTube channel UNC'S Corner Live. And ladies and gentlemen, without wasting too much time, let's get into it. It is Wild Take Wednesdays. The Radio Man, Nasty C. Let's go. So, I'm glad you're here, Sandra. Glad you're here. All right, cool. We're talking about Free. For those who don't know, Nasty C released an album called Free. We're not gonna play the album. I'll be breaking down the tracks. I'll be breaking down the album track by track. We're not gonna play the album because we'll get DMCA'd. This is my review of the album. Obviously, as you guys know, the format of Wild Take Wednesdays, I'll talk. You guys will interact on the comments, right? And we'll definitely be unpacking this whole thing. It is very important for me to say this is going to be the best review in the country right now. Once this thing drops on YouTube and on all social media platforms, this will be the best review of Nasty C's album in the country. This will be so good, this might find its way to Nasty C. So niggas, if you are here watching this live with me, right, doing this live with me, know that you're about to be part of a historic moment. And if you're watching this on YouTube, just know that you missed out. But this is about to be the greatest review of Free by myself, UNC, right here on UNC'S Corner. Let's go. Yeah. All right, cool. We're going to start with the intro, right? We're going to start with the intro. I want to pull up Spotify real quick. Because I wrote on my notes intro, but I know the intro has a name, right? I wanna start with the intro. Before I tell y'all the overall idea of what I think of the album, I think it's best for me to drop intro actually, to drop things track by track. We are talking about Free by Nasty C that dropped last week. It is a 39-minute, 36-second album with 16 songs. We're gonna start with the intro. The intro is fire. Very Nasty C, like very quintessential Nasty C. Bars are always out there. You understand? He starts the intro by giving you what I call the vices of the righteous. And the vices of the righteous will most definitely be across this whole album. What the vices of the righteous are is how a righteous man is trying to balance having a strong moral compass, yet still faltering or giving in to his vices. And the intro opens up that beautifully. Musically, Nasty C is probably one of the best in the country. There's a lot that I said about Nasty C in prior Wild Take Wednesdays that this album has most definitely changed. My mind has changed. But the intro is amazing, right? The production value is just out of, like, the production value of this album is out of this world, right? And then moving from the intro to Lefty with Blackie, right? Lefty is probably one of my favorite songs on here. I think one of Nasty C's best displays, right? I don't know who produced here, right? You would think that some people. I thought that it was Nasty C himself that produced here, but I saw in the credits there were some other guys and whatever the case may be. But the intro, like the transition from intro to Lefty, probably some of the most seamless transitions, right? I've heard. I think I heard a similar transition on business as usual with A Reese. You understand? Moving from Sunday's intro to so much, I believe is the name, right? Same here. Moving from intro to Lefty. Obviously, the tempo is different. You understand? But just I don't know. Like I think what's happening right now is that bros are learning how to make albums or have figured out how to make albums, right? Or they probably prioritizing the quality of the album in as far as the listener's journey. And yeah, I was just like, caught up. You understand, with the intro, how it goes, the production value, the rapping. Obviously, we know that Nasty C is one of the best rappers out here, a phenomenal rapper. And then moving from that to a jiggy song like Lefty. What I will say, what caught me is the line, something along the lines of "I'm from the jungle, Awumba way." I like that line. I like the line. I like how he put it there. I like his whole delivery on Lefty. To be quite honest, his delivery on Lefty, I think it's every time there's a trend, right? The slim stuponga like that trend that's on TikTok right now. Every time I hear Nasty's voice when they're about to do that trend, I'm taken aback. I think this is probably one of the best displays. You understand, when it comes to thingy. If Lefty is produced by Mash Beats, I didn't even know. Hey, I didn't even know. But yeah, I think. Look, Lefty is the best. Blackie sounds the same everywhere. You understand? I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. You understand? I'm just indifferent. You understand? Even when it came out as the single, just his as a contrast between what Nasty's doing to what Blackie's doing. It feels like, to me, given the fact that Nasty has so many bags, right? He can go the singing bag, he can go the rapping bag, and whatever. On Lefty, he does this weird auto tune, Tory Lanez type thing with his vocal register that just brings a little bit more sauce to the song. And then Blackie just comes and becomes Blackie. And I guess one can appreciate Blackie for being Blackie. To me, it sounded monotonous. I think I'm hearing Blackie so much across the board, whether you're hearing him with Brady, whether you're hearing him by himself, whether you're hearing him with Nasty, whether you hear him with somebody else. He doesn't bring different versions of himself. You understand? He just brings the same Blackie. And I don't know, maybe his sound is saturated. Maybe the sound is not for me. You understand? But I think again, intro to Lefty, more specifically Nasty C's performance on Lefty, phenomenal. Then we go into track 3, Smoking, which is very important to note that it is a splice sample. It is a splice sample. Lefty was actually produced by a producer from Internet Money, not Mash Beats. All right, cool. Thank you very much for clarifying that. Planet says, and I never understood why that's the case with Blackie, because he showcased his versatility. Look, I don't know. Niggas could be just comfortable with where they are. I cannot say it as far as Blackie. I am not him. You understand? But yeah, like he has become monotonous in as far as his display in songs. Then we're gonna go into track 3, Smoking, which is a splice sample. I'll say this, right, and maybe this is unfair, right, and I'll come back to it. Smoking sounds like it should be an A Reese and Nasty C song, right, because it's more so an A Reese vibe. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that Nasty can't do the A Reese thing or A Reese can't do the Nasty thing. You understand? What I am saying is that if they had to collaborate on something that was gonna feel good for both of them, Smoking could have been the best song. You understand? I wrote here, Smoking sounds like a Saturday morning errand run. You understand? It's good music. You understand? It's good music. When I listen to Smoking, it sounds like I'm driving. It's a Saturday, right? I'm not doing too much. It's not too crazy. It's not all over the place. What I like about it, in as far as tempo wise, is that it brings you back down. There's a lot of tension and release that you need in an album in order to make an album a great listening experience, right? I think it offers the release from the tension of Lefty, given the fact that Lefty is a club banger, given the fact that Lefty is very musically dense. You understand, especially when it comes to the 808, his delivery, right? Again, a lot of tension on intro, given the fact that he's opening up and is telling you this is an album where I'm going to struggle with the vices of the righteous, right? So you need something that is going to pull you back and give you a release. I think Smoking is one of the songs that do that. Again, a splice sample. Planet says Smoking feels like a draft. It feels incomplete for your liking. I think that's intentional, right? I think, again, an album requires a lot of tension and release in order for it to be a great listening experience, and I think Smoking is one of those songs. However, right? I think if Aries and Nasty were to be on a song that would fit both of them, right? I think Smoking would have been the song. You understand? I think Smoking would have been the song. However, excuse me, I think it being Trap number 3, it works still. Like I said, tension and release. Then we go into Switch, right? What I like about Switch is the beat, right? I find the messaging quintessential message about change. You understand? Like, oh, they I can't change on my boys, I can't change on my fans, I can't change on my family, whatever the case may be. Again, it's very important to note, Nasty C is a phenomenal Vices for the Righteous writer, right? Phenomenal, hey, I'm dealing with a moral compass writer. Phenomenal, he can tell you what he's going through in real time, and you can feel him. You can feel the struggle. That, hey, listen, dog, I'm in the club and I want to handle whatever I need to handle, but I got friends and family and a partner and a child to raise. And I think Switch is in that lane where it's like I cannot switch. It's what you hear when it comes to this album, specifically Free. You hear a lot of politicking of integrity. You understand? You hear him ask permission from himself to remain integral to what he believes in, but at the same time, you hear him ask permission from himself to let go of certain things that he thought, you understand, he was loyal to, right? And on Switch, you hear that. It's the quintessential rapper message of change. I like the beat, but I wrote here more so the mix. You understand? Very, very, very clean mix. Extremely clean mix. I love the whole album itself. You understand? Clean mixing, clean instrumentation. A little bit too much sometimes, but from intro to Switch, right? There's a great understanding of where we are. You understand? Both musically, and as far as instrumentation, both the listener's journey in as far as little ear candy, that they put in the album, the mixing, wherever the case may be. Like you are walking with him, right? You are walking with him from intro to Lefty to Smoking, then to Switch. Then it gets weird for me. With Head Up. I hate Head Up. I don't like it at all. I don't like the beat. I don't like the sound. I just don't like Head Up. However, I will say though, the only thing that I like about Head Up is him silencing the Aries and him feud, right? Where he mentions that his success, Aries' success, doesn't bother his success, because he gets to the money too. He gets to the success. The messaging remains the same. However, I don't like Head Up. I hate it. It has this weird American Southern country music influence to the sound. I don't know why he decides to do that, because that doesn't sit well with us in as far as culturally, right? I don't know if you're doing a sync play. I don't know if you're trying to tap into an American audience, a white American audience to be more specific, or a Southern American audience. I don't like it. You understand? Again, because he's a phenomenal writer, I can appreciate the writing, I can appreciate the messaging, but the song as a whole, I don't like it. I think it's weird, right? Sonically, I think, like it doesn't fit. You understand? It doesn't fit with us sonically. I don't know. I don't know. Planet says finally someone else says it. As much as I've been as much as it's been a leak since 2019. Oh, so I guess it's an old song. I guess it all makes sense. If it's a leak from 2019, I guess it makes sense given the fact that around that time he was running around, Atlanta and whatever. So the southern country music influence, right, would make sense. But yeah, listen, I yeah, I don't think. Oh, he's referring to MSP. Oh, okay, cool. Then you guys are having a completely different conversation. But yeah, head up. I don't like it. Head up. Oh, he's talking about head up. All right, cool. Yeah, head up. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's weird in as far as placement sonically, and it kind of creates a weird thing. Don't forget, I spoke about tension and release, right? Tension and release. We went from smoking, that was a release, then we got to switch, which brings us tension again, and then head up puts you in this weird space where you don't know where you fit, and then you go into hate soft, right? I wrote here the first 30 seconds I knew I would hate it. Right. However, I wrote here in asterisk, I believe this is a crossover play song. Right. If it is, I can appreciate the business behind it. It is a 5FM, KFM, high felt type song. Right. Hate soft suspension. What's going on? What are we talking about as far as suspension? Who's being suspended? What's going on, TJ? Suspension. What suspension? I don't know what TJ is talking about. But anyway, yeah, like hate soft, like I said, first 30 seconds I knew I would hate it. And I think from head up to hate soft, right, what you are, tension, suspension, then release. Oh, yes. Right. So from head up to hate soft, what I'm thinking he's doing, he is trying to play the radio game globally. You understand? He's trying to play the radio game globally. Hate soft will definitely play, you understand, on nationally syndicated radio stations like your 5FM, right? It will play on a KFM. It will play on a high felt. You understand? That's Rex. You understand? Like I said here, I believe there's a crossover song. If it is, I appreciate the business play behind it. You understand? However, from the first 30 seconds, I hated the song. Same as Head Up. I feel like they fall within the same universe. You understand? And like I said, I think he is playing for an international appeal. I can appreciate the playing of the international appeal. Yeah, but Head Up from Switch, then Head Up and Hate Soft, I think for me personally, bad listening experience. And then we come to That's What's Up, which was the first repeat. So I'm listening to the album, I get to That's What's Up, and I repeat it. That's What's Up is a short song. However, I like the song enough for me to repeat it. You understand? I wrote here, I love the message. It's a feel-good song. Stand up man messaging. Obviously, I love when rappers speak like men. You understand? He takes little shots at rapper living. I think that's what's up. I love it for the messaging. I like the chorus. I love it for the messaging. I like how he wrote the chorus. I'm a fan of Nasty's writing on this album in particular. Even the songs that I hate, I can appreciate the writing. But That's What's Up, I think, again, that's my second favorite song because, again, going back to the vices of the righteous, right? He's addressing us as a man. You understand? He's addressing us as a man. Like, yo, dog, I like going home. I like to see my nieces and nephews. They really think I'm cool. When I say, yo, I was with Drake, they believe me. You understand? I take care of my kids. I was raised by my dad. You understand? My dad raised me and my brother to take care of our kids, right? We don't leave our kids. We handle business. No matter how hard the business is, we handle business. And those who know me, they know I'm a big fan of that because I believe in that. I believe a man always has to show up no matter what. You understand? Because you're a man, right? And you've got manly responsibilities. And I love that he spoke from the perspective of a man and the perspective of a male human. You understand? And a male human with responsibilities like a child in a relationship with Sammy Heavens. And again, love the fact that, he's been speaking about his father in most of his music. He's been speaking about how, God, has influenced his decision making and how his father kind of walked him through that path, you understand, in as far as believing in God and whatever the case may be. And That's What's Up is one of, I think, or maybe the only song on this here album that speaks of that in a very clear, concise way that doesn't need to sound good, right, for radio, or doesn't need to make the young kids dance or whatever the case may be. This is what I call human music or man music. So once it gets to That's What's Up, I was like, all right, cool, we back. I was like, all right, cool, we back. You know, Head Up and Hate Soft kind of threw me off, but That's What's Up, we back. Very important to note, splice sample also. There's 2 splice samples that I caught on this album. Is That's What's Up and then Smoking, right? Another thing, right? Another thing, let me see if I need to read anything here. Niggas having their own comments, right? Cool. Niggas having their own conversations here, cool. So that's my take. That's my review, and That's What's Up. And then we get to 10 shooters, right? 10 shooters. With 10 shooters, what I want to do is I want to do 2 things. I want to retract my statement that I made a couple of Wild Take Wednesdays ago when I said MT can do the nasty thing, but nasty can't do the MT thing. And what I was referring to is that MT is one of the greatest hook masters in this country, right? He can pen a radio hit effortlessly, right? If you listen to DIY, if you listen to DIY 2, if you listen to Avery, if you listen to Manando, right? If you listen to those albums when MT was at his peak, right? You couldn't tell me that MT is not probably the best songwriter in the country. And a couple of Wild Take Wednesdays ago, I said that MT and Nasty are both talented, but Nasty can never do the MT thing, but MT can do the Nasty thing, because I believe that MT, right, is a decent rapper, decent enough though to stand next to a Nasty C. Of course, they're not gonna go bar for bar. They're gonna make a great song, and we heard it with I think it's Winning on Avery, featuring Nasty C, if I'm not mistaken. That's the name of the song. However, moving from That's What's Up and going to 10 Shooters. 10 Shooters is the song that makes me retract my statement and want to lodge an official apology to Nasty C. Big dog, I wasn't familiar with your game, because this is a radio hit. I wrote here, right? Radio heat, right? He really took off on the hook, right? The hook for 10 Shooters is amazing. The song itself is amazing. Radio scorcher. There's no way that the song will not kill the YFMs and the youth radio stations and the community radio stations, right? And the urban radio stations, if there is such for us in South Africa, because we do have provincial syndicated radio stations that speak to a specific demographic like a YFM, right? And I think that demographic, 10 Shooters, right, will most definitely and unequivocally be the song that will really scorch them charts, right? Everywhere on YFM, I can hear it. I can hear it again on 5FM, right? I think there's a bunch of radio stations that will take this and playlist the song. It is a radio hit. At this point, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. At this point, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. Maybe David is coming on some crazy, because he took us from intro to Lefty to Smoking. Lefty's on the radio, right? There's no way Lefty's is on the radio, right? There's no way Lefty's not on the radio, rather. Lefty is on the radio. It's banging. It's a certified hit, right? It will scorch up radio. It's scorching up radio. We come to Head Up. We come to Hate Soft. Hate the songs, but the songs will most definitely scorch nationally syndicated stations, white stations. It's about to be a different type of time. Joburg Day, he's definitely going to be there. 94.7, whatever the gig they're doing, he's definitely going to be there. All the white festivals in Cape Town, he's definitely going to be there. Head Up and Hate Soft next year, Rocking the Daisies, he's definitely going to be there. So I'm looking at it from that perspective. I'm like, if we use industry metrics, right? Thus far, Free is a monstrosity. You can see this is a man that comes from the Def Jam pipeline. You can see this is a man that was signed. You can see this is a man that was taken to multiple radio stations across the world. You can see this is a man that sat with the best A&Rs, the best writers in the world, the best producers in the world, right? So at this point, by 10 shooters, I'm going lefty, head up, hate soft, right? And 10 shooters. That's 4 songs that could rock radio for the rest of this year and next year, right? Now I'm like, okay. Oh, is it? Sorry, it's soft. Sorry, I wrote it as hate soft because I'm like, I hate soft. My bad. My bad. Soft. Not hate soft. My bad. Right, let me remove that. Right? So he was a Daisy. He killed. So that's the thing, right? So I'm going lefty. I'm going head up. I'm going soft. I'm going 10 shooters. I'm like, okay, cool. This is a problem, right? This is a problem and a good problem. So now I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, this is a completely different album to the album that I listened to last week. And not to do this comparison, but I know you guys are going to do it. You understand? But this is a completely different album from the album that I was reviewing last week. Because this album is an industry album, whereas that album is a culture album. Right? I'm like, all right, cool. We on a different type of time. Right? That's me. I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, we're on a different type of time. Right? The album that I listened to last week was a culture album. It's for the culture, it's for the fans, it's for all that. This album is for the industry. Big shout out to, oh my God, big shout out to Becky for the Galaxy. God damn. Jesus. Right? So I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, we on a different type of time. Big shout out to Becky. My bad, Becky, I want to go crazy, but I'm really locked in on this review right now. But big shout out. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, we on a different type of time, right? We on a different type of time. Then guess what happens? The most ironic thing happens. Mind you, as the listener, I'm going, the album I reviewed last week is a far different album to the album I'm reviewing right today, or I'm listening to today, and I'm making notes. Because the album last week is beautiful music, you know, he's talking that grown man shit to the culture. This one, he's doing the exact same thing, but he is lining it up for sync licensing. He's lining it up for radio. He's lining it up for the big festivals, the commercial festivals. He's lining it up for the music business, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. That's where the fundamental difference is when it comes to both artists. And then we go into Ice, which samples Big Pun and Joe, I Don't Want to Be a Player No More, of which the ironic part about it is that Mash Beats and the Wrecking Crew and A. Reese, right, sampled the same song on Tell Me What You Want. So when you listen to the song, when you listen to Ice, you would think that he sampled A. Reese and them on Tell Me What You Want, but it's actually the original sample is Fat Joe and Joe, I mean Big Pun, sorry, not Fat Joe, Big Pun and Joe, I Don't Want to Be a Player No More, right? Now, to me, I'm like, do you do this on purpose? Is it a nod to the man? Is it a shot to the man? I'm like, all right, cool. He already addressed the fact that he's not competing with him, right? They both bros, whatever the case may be. But I found that as very funny. However, the song itself, I think it's a throwaway. I think Ice is a throwaway, right? I'm not hearing it personally. You understand? And with that being said, I think now what's happening is that we go from, oh, okay, this album is about to go crazy, to, all right, cool, what are we doing now, right? That's, again, don't forget, right, we are trying to follow what's going on. The message remains consistent, but now you're trying to see where the songs are placing you, right? I'm like, okay, 10 shooters, I'm hype. Radio station, I'm outside. That's what's up. I'm chilling in the cut like peroxide, listening to the message. Love the message. Soft, I guess I'm sitting here there with my Ricky. We outside. It's Joburg Day, right? Head up, we outside, rocking the daisies, right? Switch, I'm in the car or wherever I'm at. We rapping, talking about change. You understand? Smoking is Saturday, right? I just got out. My baby's in the bedroom, right? Airbnb balcony is Saturday morning. It's just the boxes or the shorts without the shirt. I'm standing outside. I'm smelling the Joburg air while the jacarandas are out. You know what I mean? Lefty, we just come from the club. So on Friday, we on Lefty. On Saturday, we on smoking. And then the intro's like, oh, this is, we drive into the club while we listening to this. So you see, every song places me somewhere. Now we get to Ice. I'm like, this doesn't place me anywhere. This doesn't place me anywhere. Where are we going with it? Right? I'm like, okay, cool. No problem. No problem. Everybody needs an album filler. Everybody needs something, a throwaway joint, to transition from one song to another. We get to Psychic. I believe Psychic was the first song from Free, right? Tense on the whip. You're moving like a fish. Don't like the song. Don't care for the song. You understand what I'm saying? Even when it came out, I'm just like, you know what I mean? So now, on Ice, I'm like, on Psychic, I'm like, right? I'm like, okay, now that's two songs. That's two songs. I'm like, okay. Now, some may say, yo, Psychic bangs, I'm good. But now you must understand, at this point, what's starting to happen is that ear fatigue is happening. And I'll explain the ear fatigue. Right, my bad. Well, at this point, when we get to Psychic, ear fatigue is happening. And I'll explain the ear fatigue. Right? Because now what's happening is that we still up-tempo, but like we in limbo now. You understand? With the up-tempo Situlala. We like, we went to the Joe and Big Pun sample. Now we up there again. Like, where are we? Right? Then we get to MSP. Most probably the worst song on the album. Most probably the worst song, if not the worst song on the album. And I'll explain to you why. This is all respect to DJ Speedster, but I think it was DJ Speedster's creative direction for this song to exist. After everything that I heard from Free, there's no way Nasty's sitting there and going, this song bangs. And what makes it even funnier is that the reunion song after they beef is so rubbish that it feels like even the reunion is forced. Right? I think the creative direction is Speedster's. Now, there's no disrespect to Speedster. Right? There's no disrespect. He gave us mail. Speedster gave us mail. That song has been running the club for damn near a decade. But this song is not for me. I'm so sorry. Those who love it, they love it. But the song is most definitely and unequivocally not for me. Right? I think it's a filler. I think what we doing at this point is that from Ice to Psychic to MSP, we're just putting songs in to fill in the album. Mind you, the album is almost 40 minutes. It's 39 minutes, right? So in order not for it to hit the weird EP mark, we're just going to add things. And I think Ice, Psychic, and MSP are the songs that I just added to make sure that we hit that number, right? Cool. We get to Selfish, right? Once we get to Selfish, I wrote here, ear fatigue in as far as the sound. But it's a letter to Sammy. I can't hate on that. However, I would have loved if he went into his introspective beat bag. Right? With Selfish, again, the vices of the righteous. I'm talking to my baby. If this thing between you and I doesn't work, I pray that you get a nigga who's gonna handle situations like I do. Till that day comes, though, I'm still gonna handle situations. Right? Love that message. Real nigga shit. Man conversations. Right? Hate the sound. I think he should have went into the introspective bag, bro, go fetch like a Drake type beat, a 4 a.m. in something. You know what I mean? I think this would work. However, just like, what's that song that he has with Rolene? The song that he has with Rolene, I forgot. I think it's SMA, right? SMA, right? I think Selfish was another attempt to do an SMA, right? Definitely a radio song. Send me away. SMA. I think Selfish is most definitely trying to be an SMA or a SMA. I would have loved for it to go into his introspective bag. However, love the message though. Love the message. Man shit. Love the message. Now, we are in this weird space where sonically we don't know where we're going. Right? Sonically we don't know where we're going because after 10 shooters, it's been weird for like 4 songs. Right? Then we get to Big Timing, I believe is the name of the song. Right? We get to Big Timing. Right? It's a Big Timing, yes. We get to Big Timing with Teleman. I wrote here, sounds like a sync licensing play. I don't like it at all. Right? I don't like it at all. Right? Sounds like a sync licensing play. 5FM, KFM, High Felt, definitely radio song. So now, according to me, I'm like, we got 1, 2, 3, right? Soft, right? Not hate soft, it's soft, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, right? Excuse me. 4, 5, 6 radio songs. You got 6 radio songs, right? The album is 16 songs. We have 6 radio contention songs. I'm not gonna fight that. I may not like some of the radio songs, with the exception of 10 Shooters and Lefty. All the other radio songs, I don't like them personally, right? But I appreciate the radio play. I appreciate it. I can see it. I appreciate it. Let's go. Then we get to Evidence. I wrote here, radio song again. We get to Other Plans, and then we get to Not Tonight with Tejo. I wrote here, good to hear Tejo. And that concludes the album. I want to apologize to Nasty C specifically by calling it Hate Soft. It's soft. Right. I want to apologize to him. I just wrote here Hate Soft. Right. Because I didn't like soft, but it's not Hate Soft. It's soft. Right. So I want to apologize for that if he ever gets to watch this thing. Right. But Other Plans, I didn't write anything about it, so that means it's not memorable to me. Not Tonight, I didn't write anything about it, just wrote good to hear Tejo. Evidence, I wrote thingy, radio song again. You understand? Now here's my takeaway. Right. Now I listen to the whole thing. Here's my takeaway. Yes, this is gonna go on YouTube. Here's my takeaway. Right. My takeaways are, number 1, Nasty knows how to write and structure a song that transcends genre. Right? It's very important to note. It's very important to note. Nasty knows how to write and structure a song that transcends genre. I love that about this album. I love that about this album. Right? Nasty cements himself as one of the greatest or one of the best writers in this country, because he can write for all genres. All right, he can definitely now write for all genres. He can write the big song, he can write the culture song, he can write the club song, he can write the introspective song, he can write all kinds of songs. And I think we need to give him his flowers. Nasty C is one of the best writers in this country, and the album showed this. One of the best musicians, one of the best writers in this country. If you want to talk about the difference between, because I know you guys like the division, if you want to talk about the difference between Nasty and A. Reese, I will say A. Reese is a phenomenal rap artist. One of the best rap artists in this country. Nasty C is a phenomenal hip-hop artist. Right? That's looking to transcend the genre. What I mean by that, I did explain to you guys. Right? But I'll explain to you guys again. A rap artist focuses on the technicalities of the words. how he says the words, when he says the words, why he says the words, is based on technique. A hip-hop artist is based on the lifestyle around the culture. Nasty C writes phenomenal songs about the lifestyle around the culture. A. Reese writes phenomenal songs in as far as the technicalities of the art itself. Right? So A. Reese is a phenomenal rap artist. Nasty C is a phenomenal hip-hop artist that is looking to transcend the hip-hop genre, seemingly, when it comes to this album. And I appreciate that. I really do. Right? I think the album itself, it's musically dense with extremely big instrumentation. What I mean by that is that the amount of synths, the amount of leads, the amount of arpeggiators, the amount of 808s used, and how very like clean they mix them, it causes a lot of ear fatigue. Don't forget, we spoke about tension, right? Suspension, release, right? The listening experience, most of it is high tempo, which can cause ear fatigue. You don't get to relax. You always hear. You understand? So you always tense when you're listening to the music, right? Because of the production choices. Like I said, the synths, the leads, the arpeggiators, the 808s. You understand? Like, it's a lot of like heavily like dense instrumentation musically. And I think for a listening experience, especially for a 40-minute album, it's a little bit, yeah, it can cause ear fatigue. You get tired. Or I got tired when I was listening to it. Right. I did right here, though. The messaging is the vices of the righteous. I credit that to his dad, his faith in God. He writes about his life from a moral compass standpoint very well. He knows how to move around in as far as talking about his experience as a man. And I can only appreciate that as a writer, as a rapper, and as a hip-hop listener. It was a great 40 minutes, 39 minutes and 32 seconds. Again, I would have required a lot of more suspension and release, but I like the album. I think the album is very, very necessary. I'm glad that hip hop gave us 2 albums, I think, back to back, right? In as far as the 2 youngest rappers, or what was once the 2 youngest rappers in the game. I love the grown man perspective from both. But if I had to zero in on Nasty C, dog, you are one of the greatest, and it's time that we give you. It's time that we give you your flowers, big dog. It's time that we give you your flowers. You wrote one of the best hip hop albums. You wrote one of the best hip hop albums to drop this year. I love the play. I understand that not everybody's going to make culture music. Not everybody's going to make street music. Not everybody's going to make club music. People are writing for the music industry, some of them, and you are one of those guys. And even if you are writing for the music industry, it's not contrived, it's not forced, and it's most definitely not cheap. You took your time, you put your messaging into this, right? You came through with big production, very wide production, musically dense production, because you know you have a goal for this thing. Now that you're independent, I appreciate that. I like the album, bro. Big shout out to you, and I hope Free will indeed set you free. Big shout out to Nasty C. I love the album. Let's go. Big shout out to Becky FTC.